Story 1. After a green light, I wait 3 seconds before moving. In Toronto traffic, I earn $100,000 in under an hour. Story 2. Go to a busy train or other transit station and stand in the way of the crowd, pretending to talk on the phone, or abruptly change my walking direction. Story 3. I would probably take a post that was put up less than a month ago, slightly change the parameters, and repost. By the way, here is your $10,000. Story 4. Go shopping in grocery stores and leave my cart in the middle of the aisle while I shop. That should be $130,000 if I do it in every aisle. Story 5. Create extremely annoying and low-quality advertisements. Poor ad reads for large podcasts, YouTube ads, and similar platforms. The cost per advertisement will be well under $10,000, resulting in mostly profit. These ads will be distributed widely to the general audience. This approach may irritate hundreds of thousands of people weekly. Even if the cost per advertisement ranges from $3,000 to $5,000 or more, the expense is minimal relative to the number of individuals reached. Most of the millions of viewers will experience at least mild annoyance. Story 6. Drive in the left lane on the toll road in Florida, going 1 mile per hour under the posted speed limit during rush hour. I would be a millionaire before I got home. Story 7. I had become professionally irritating. I would hum every song out loud, ask obvious questions in meetings, reply with okay to texts, and chew just a bit too loudly. I casually earned 6 figures by lunchtime. Story 8. I go shopping, take my shopping, have a change of heart about an item, and leave it on the nearest shelf. Story 9. Audience selection is key. I would go to service locations, ask if any customers are bothering them, and then mildly annoy those people. Clear conscience and money. Story 10. Why are you hitting yourself? Story 11. I would start telling all the manipulative people the truth about how awful they are. I would be rich in no time. Story 12. I am sure I would like to know what to do in the moment, but I am drawing a blank on how I would manage to be mildly annoying. Story 13. I keep going to the busiest shopping mall after eating lentils and chickpeas all day to use the elevator for hours. Story 14. Go to a crowded place and walk slowly. Every person who has to walk around me earns me $10,000 without even knowing it. Story 15. Is it per person I annoy too, or each instance on its own? Either way, I buy some Bluetooth speakers and start riding public transit, playing my music and phone calls for everyone around me. Story 16. Eat a whole pack of licorice and some onion bhajis, then walk up and down the aisles crop dusting them. Do I get $10,000 per aisle? Story 17. Would it be based on an annoying event or how many people were annoyed by one event? Regardless, I would make sure there was as much exposure as possible wherever I could for maximum mild annoyance. Story 18. Find a busy public place and walk around whistling at a moderate volume. That will mildly annoy many people. Story 19. When I am in traffic, I make my turns from the regular lane instead of moving to the turn lane like a polite person would. Story 20. I leave the toilet seat up and then turn the toilet paper around the opposite way from how I found it. That's an easy $50,000 a day for a minute's work. Story 21. Click my pen in a busy office. If I get paid per click, it will only take a day or two before retirement. Story 22. Walk through coffee shops and sit next to people when there are plenty of other seats available, or casually stand very close to people in checkout lines. People get annoyed with personal space invasion, especially if it is kind of oblivious on the invader's part. Another good example is during any conversation, just say, "That's nice," and walk away. People hate that. By the way, I am the youngest of 4. I possess a virtually bottomless supply of annoying to draw from. Story 23. Annoy your pets, go out in public and talk loudly on your cell phone, cut in line, and stand in a parking space saving it for your partner. Story 24. I will sit in my office and play music on my speakers just loud enough for people to hear it, but not loud enough to make it a major annoyance. If possible, I will choose music I am relatively certain no one will like, but that I do. Story 25. I think I already annoy my boss by talking complete and utter nonsense all day. So I will just do that until I can retire in a week or so from now. Story 26. I will make some unusual noises everywhere I go. Not enough to be asked to leave, but enough to make people wonder what is happening. Story 27. Drive 5 miles under the speed limit, no matter where I am, especially on two-lane roads where there is no passing lane. I will be a billionaire in no time, though I suppose doing that on those two-lane roads may not count as a mild annoyance. It might qualify as a major annoyance. Story 28. Adjust the Sloan valve in public urinals to either not flush or not stop flushing. Either option is annoying, and both can be done easily without damaging the urinal. Takes 10 seconds. Story 29. Are we paid per incident or per number of people we annoy? Go to a romantic restaurant and talk loudly on my Bluetooth headset. Story 30. Small portable chalkboard on public transportation at rush hour. If each scratch counts as a single annoying act, I will be a billionaire in no time. Story 31. I approach people who are clearly waiting in line and ask, "Excuse me, is this the line?" Story 32. Ask, "Are you sure?" After every decision anyone makes, regardless of whether it is relevant to me or my life. Story 33. After the light turns green when I am behind you, I will honk my horn and show that the light is not getting any greener. Story 34. Drive 2 miles per hour below the speed limit in the left lane on the highway and refuse to move. I would be a millionaire in a day if it were by the number of people annoyed. Story 35. Start a YouTube channel, a podcast, and accounts on TikTok and Instagram. Post annoying content on all these channels. Call the accounts Annoying Steve. Story 36. I think my wife can attest that we would now own a very expensive home and be fully able to retire in luxury at any time. Story 37. Hang out in elevators and talk to everyone about the awkwardness of being in an elevator with someone when they get in. Story 38. Drive on local roads. People are becoming aggressive to the point of shooting at each other around here, so I am pretty sure I would be a billionaire in a few days just from doing freeway merges all day. Story 39. On a weekend day, drive to Walmart, Sam's Club, or Costco, making sure to make full, slow, complete stops at stop signs, wait 3 seconds after a light turns green at intersections, and slow down to nearly a full stop before turning off a main road onto a side street. Secure a parking spot close to the door but park on the line so the spot next to you does not have room to park. Then, grab a cart and slowly push it down the direct center of every aisle, pausing occasionally to look at and consider adding a product to the cart. Sometimes change your mind and put an item back on the shelf in a completely different spot, with the label facing in so it is less obvious the item does not belong there. Also be sure to lightly brush the bakery section. At the end of the trip, once in line at the register, abandon the cart full of items and instead grab a single pack of gum to go through self-checkout. On the way back to the car, chew some gum and spit it out on the sidewalk, street, or crosswalk where people are likely to step on it. Doing this once should have you set for life, but making it an event every 2 months or so could quickly make you part of the 1%. Story 40. I am quite sure my coworker is obtaining this deal because every single day they cough loudly every 1 to 2 minutes. They must be heavily intoxicated by now. Story 41. Post something in a Russian language web environment. It should have reached millions as a manifestation of their annoyance with me. Story 42. Hold up traffic. I interpret every time as every new instance of someone getting annoyed. Slow way down for every turn. Just drive like you have nowhere to be. Take a long time when the light turns. Instant multimillionnaire. Story 43. I am going to race down to the main shopping street here in Oslo and briefly get in people's way all day. I am going to be a billionaire. Story 44. If it had to be specifically mildly annoying, just go on to public transport with my headphones on but not plugged in while pretending not to notice. Story 45. Repeat what someone says during conversation. I just got a new lawn mower. Okay, you just got a new lawn mower. How is it? It's really nice, electric, quiet, lots of torque. Oh, it's electric and quiet with a lot of torque? That's great. Where did you get it? Down at Lowe's. It was on sale. Oh really, on sale at Lowe's down the street? Marvelous. My neighbor was part of a Toastmasters group, and this is a technique they taught him that I believe he overuses. Comedians do it during crowd work. It is not extremely annoying, just mildly so over time or during a long conversation. Story 46. Park my grocery cart in the middle of the aisle and walk several feet away, following the same people down every aisle they go to. Repeat. Story 47. Just get a Bluetooth speaker and play reggaeton at a medium volume. Now get on the A train on the New York City subway and take it the full way in both directions while walking back and forth from the front of the train, through every car, to the back. Repeat for 8 hours. Story 48. Rewatch and study every move Colin Robinson makes in What We Do in the Shadows. Then apply it to everyone around me. Story 49. Every time someone says online, I correct them and say I think you mean on the line. It is infuriating, and everyone hates it. Story 50. Drive in the left lane on the highway, going the speed limit, causing people to pass me and cut in front of me. I should be the richest person in recorded history in less than a month. Story 51. The same thing Sam Altman does for the same reward. Talk on and on with my mouth set to maximum vocal fry. Story 52. If it counts per person, then blast music on my phone in a busy place. Easily 1,000,000. Otherwise, I wait 5 minutes and do it again. Story 53. Just kind of stand in people's way. Not enough to wreck their life, but enough to make them mildly irritated. Story 54. I am just going to talk to my children in the normal way. I am fairly sure I will be a millionaire by midnight. Story 55. I drive a lot for work. I would stop using a turn signal. It would cause me physical pain to do so, but $10,000 is $10,000. Story 56. Loudly watch videos on my phone without headphones, then visit crowded places with lines and elevators. Story 57. When driving on the highway, lightly tap the brakes every now and then when there is no one in front of me. Story 58. Figuring out why my wife is upset with me today. Unfortunately for her, while we were separated, I stopped caring, and so did the kids. I love her, but she needs to get over herself. Yes, I assume she is mad at me right now. Story 59. Turning off chargers. Playing catchy music out loud on public transport but switching songs right before the chorus. Placing pull stickers on the push side of doors and vice versa. Leaving open plastic bottles of milk hidden in meeting rooms. Using all the toilet paper in every restroom before leaving. Story 60. I will buy a motorcycle and ride it around my neighborhood like my neighbors do. Do I get $10,000 for every person in every house? Story 61. Most of what I think would probably be quite annoying, especially if I am anxious to make $10,000. Mildly annoying is not as easy to pull off as it seems. Story 62. Define mildly. What counts as doing something every time? Shaving off 1/4 of an inch from one leg of every chair in a large restaurant will annoy every patron who sits on them. Does that count as mildly annoying? Does it only count for the first person who sits on the chair because it is a single action? Or does it count for each instance because the annoyance can happen multiple times? There are many questions and many opportunities to earn 10,000. In fact, you are probably annoyed having to read this pointless run-on paragraph, right? Story 63. 10,000 a day sounds easy. I'll just keep asking my girlfriend to have sex with me, and that should do it. Story 64. I complain to the fast food chain that the tomatoes on my sandwich are underripe and have not been cored. Story 65. Going to the store and abandoning carts in every aisle and parking spot. Then going into the store and moving items to strange locations. Mixing all the onions together. Mixing all the peppers together. Then going to the local pool and swimming randomly into other people while shouting unnecessarily. Start placing sticks in people's yards and all over the sidewalks. I could go door to door and ask people if they want to hear a dad joke. I could go to the mall and stop everyone to ask if they want to take a trivia test. I could make my students write their names on their homework, which is apparently very annoying to 6th graders. Story 66. Go to busy areas like the airport or Disneyland and continuously walk directly toward people. Doing the I do not know which side to pass you on wobble. $1 million per hour. Story 67. Get a U-Haul truck and drive in the left lane on every busy highway I can, at exactly the speed limit. Story 68. I continue to feel depressed about being out of work for a long time. Apparently, it is annoying my family. Even with $10,000, I would still be depressed. I need to work. Story 69. Say everything I do every second is annoying. I did not specify that someone else had to think it is annoying or anything specific, so just breathing every second can qualify. Check please. Story 70. I am a high school teacher. I will be retired within weeks because everything I do frustrates these students. How dare I ask them to write 5 full sentences on something we have been discussing for 9 days. Story 71. Everywhere I go, I pretend I have a Bluetooth headset, so I speak loudly to whoever is in my sight. When they look to see if I am important, everyone just has to accept that I might be crazy. Story 72. Become a politician. Express your political position clearly. You will annoy many people and gain significant attention quickly. Story 73. Ride commuter trains and play media on my phone at a volume just loud enough for everyone around me to hear, but not loud enough to get kicked off. Story 74. I will act like a Discord kitten and get on everyone's nerves 24/7. Ooh, senpai, can you buy me Fortnite Battle Pass? I have been a bad kitten, meow. Lick hand Pookie. Everyone is being mean to me. Can you tell them to stop? I am just a small bean. Story 75. Request employees at a coffee shop, bar, or restaurant to greet me with good morning or good day before asking what I would like to order. Story 76. Simple. Turn on the speaker on my phone and have a conversation in a public place, such as a train carriage or coffee shop. You get the picture. Story 77. Stand by a door and hold it open whenever someone is coming, then close it before they get through. Story 78. Double park in front of open parking spaces. Stand in front of doorways. Talk to baristas when there is a line. Story 79. New York City tourist mode for the commute. Suddenly stop at every corner on my walking commute and turn around with my backpack and gym bag to look at the street sign and then my phone. Enter and leave the subway stop slowly and in the middle of the stairs. Try to get on before everyone gets off. Enter the subway 2 steps at a time. Leave bags on. Constantly check phone and lean wherever it is most annoying to check at every stop. Story 80. I will keep posting lazy, played out, dumb reposts on AskReddit every few days. Give me a month and I will be able to buy a well-established social media app just to gut it and run it into the ground. Story 81. Press the button at the pedestrian crossing. Do not cross when the lights turn red. Press the button again if necessary. Story 82. Go to New York City and hand out flyers on a busy street. It does not matter what the flyer says, and it does not matter if anyone takes the flyer or not. The action of having to ignore or pivot away from the direction will be mildly annoying to most. Story 83. To do what other people do that annoys me. Park badly, cough without covering my mouth, stare at someone, use bare hands instead of tongs with self-service bakery items, let my lawn become overgrown, drive at night with high beams on, take a long time to back out of a parking space when someone is waiting, tailgate, jump a queue, hold up a queue by taking too long to pay, hum in public, burp in public, litter, bump into someone, go out wearing pajamas, talk to someone's child, stop, right at the entrance of a shop blocking traffic, and more. What a great job. Story 84. If I were a woman, I would make a cool retirement project just by lifting the seats in every public toilet I can find. But since I am a guy, I will just keep peeing next to the toilet instead of in it. Story 85. Ride the New York City subway all day listening to music on a Bluetooth speaker. Just printing money. Story 86. Convert my home to a smart home. Every time I want to make coffee, do laundry, turn on the lights, lock the door, or lower the blinds, I need to open the application on my phone. Sometimes I have to log back in, and sometimes other people in my house need access. Story 87. As a United Kingdom citizen, post corrections of every American's spelling on Reddit. It may be technically correct, but it is not the King's English. Damn it. Story 88. Go to work and bounce my foot. For context, we are in an old building and live in cubicle land. When people bounce their feet, it causes all the nearby monitors to jiggle. Story 89. Go back to university as a guest lecturer in my old course. Challenge 50 people at once who cannot leave or they will fail their course. 50 times 10,000 equals 500,000 every few minutes. Teach a 1-week course, 1 hour a day. Retire. Story 90. After someone tells me something, I wait about 10 seconds and then ask them a question about what they just said so they have to repeat themselves. Story 91. Clown horn on bottoms of shoes honks with every step. Each honk is annoying. An average of 8,000 to 10,000 steps equals $80 million a day. Story 92. Well, for me, it would be mildly annoying and fun to go around like Val Kilmer in Top Secret and break out into song in appropriate places. It is sad that we lost him. Story 93. Chew loudly in quiet places. I would also start replying with okay to texts, especially in group chats. Story 94. It's really annoying rather than mildly annoying, so I don't know if it counts. My barely audible normal existence noises really annoy my spouse. Story 95. Constantly whistle. Pick your nose and wipe your finger on any nearby surface. Talk on your phone on speaker in public. Walk behind people a few feet. When someone goes inside a building, say, hold the door, please, and then just walk by. Pay with change everywhere. Send text messages and other social media alerts containing only a period. Stop people and tell them their fly is down when it is not. Build a time machine. Go back to the 1990s. Constantly rent movies and never rewind the tape. Story 96. Stand still in a busy Costco aisle. Not centered enough to block anyone, but just centered enough to make it annoying to get around. $1 million an hour easy. Story 97. I have a coworker who constantly whistles, but not a tune, just random noises, while clapping very loudly. I would use his strategy because it is slowly driving me mad. Story 98. First, I make a template. It looks something like this. You gain a every time in What do? Then, every minute I pick a random denomination and activity and repost it here. That way, the subreddit remains exactly the same, but I am rich. Story 99. Host a large wedding in a very tourist-dense European city. It should get hundreds of thousands excited. Story 100. Just drive to my local grocery store first thing in the morning and park just over the line. So I am taking up not only the nearest spot to the entrance, but also the adjacent space. Then I keep moving my car from one spot where I am inconveniencing other shoppers to another. Story 101. Play the Uno reverse on my wife, and when she just sits down, ask her to get me something like she does for me every time. Story 102. Use the phrase just to clarify only when necessary. Avoid asking questions after statements and instructions. Story 103. Get a pen with a clicking sound and continually click it in a room full of people. I should get $10,000 once per second. Story 104. I would chew with my mouth open, making the loudest sounds possible. There is nothing worse than people eating like animals, I am pretty sure. Story 105. Go on public buses or subways and play music over speakerphone, but only just loud enough for people to barely hear it over the normal music playing. If I can earn extra money for making it very annoying, then play at full volume. Story 106. Just be myself. I was walking out of a store with my wife and son, and she said, "Can you stop being annoying for 3 minutes?" I replied, "You knew who I was before you married me." She answered, "I sometimes wish I didn't. I don't even know what I was doing," but it was clearly enough to bother her. I am certain I could bring home at least $100,000 a day just doing what I'm doing. Story 107. Autism and epilepsy combination here. Just remind people of one without mentioning the other as needed. This should be done regularly. Story 108. I am headed to the movie theater, buying an extra large popcorn, and chewing with my mouth open the entire movie. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.